Chair lays out House Bill 3227 and recognizes Representative Gerdes to explain his bill.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members, for the opportunity
Representative
to
Gerdes,
present.
Chair offers a committee substitute. You may
Thank you.
proceed.
For the opportunity to present House Bill 3227. Current language is vague to the requirements, procedures needed for approval or removal, relocation, or alteration of monuments or memorials located on state, county, and municipal property by only granting powers to appropriate entities without procedural requirements. Additionally, the current definition of monuments or memorials is narrow and doesn't consider other features significant to Texas history, such as a bridge or a park. Furthermore, there are no protections to historical monuments or memorials that are key to Texas culture and history. HB 3227 would ensure any decision to remove or alter a historical monument or memorial is made with proper oversight and public voice, whether by City Council, County Commissioners, the Legislature, or the general public. It is important to note that this bill allows for additional monument or memorial to be added to the surrounding municipal or county property where a monument or memorial is located in an effort to complement or contrast with the monument or memorial. The committee sub is a result of working with the Texas Historical Commission and the General Land Office to accommodate some of the things that they have requested, and I'm more than happy to go through those if there's any questions. I would like to reserve my right to close.
Thank you, Representative Gerdes. Members, any questions? Vice Chair Flores.
I was reading through this, and it seems like you're laying out a lot, overcomplicating the process for removing monuments and stuff. And I think, I mean, I was with the Arts Commission, and if there were things that needed to be removed, the city had its process to de-access art and other things like that. I mean, wouldn't this just be adding a lot of layers of bureaucracy to the process?
No, I mean, it's pretty simple for state property. You know, you have the, with the committee sub, you have property that was, or monuments or memorials that were there for, there's different rules for ones that have been there for under 50 years or over 50 years, and then your state and local is the, if they've been there for 25 years, over 25 years or under 25 years. And just, and it kind of puts a process in place to make sure that, you know, if the folks that have their say on that from the local level all the way up to the legislature. Yes, ma'am.
Members, any other questions? Seeing none, we'll proceed to public testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair calls up Denise Siebert. Morning.
We're doing one at a time. Okay.
Yeah,
This is different.
we're glad you're here today.
Yes, thank you. My name is Denise Seibert. I'm representing myself, and I'm in favor of HB 3227. Thank you, state representatives, for allowing me to be heard today. Does wiping away our history of our state change people's hearts? Does it? Changing names or removing statues will not change a person's heart, mindset, or actions. If we don't remember our wrongs, we won't change our actions. We will remove our history, when we remove our history, whether good or bad, how can we move forward to do better? I took a trip and went through Selma, Alabama. I went inside the church where Reverend Martin Luther King spoke, and then went to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where a group tried twice to march to the Capitol. We drove to the Capitol. That was a long walk when they finally made it. That was a very dark beginning where injustice and prejudice and violence happened. I choose to remember both parts of this march. I want to do better and to be a better human being, so I need to remember both parts. Just as we wouldn't change the history of Selma, Alabama, Fort Goliad, or Granger monuments, we must have to remember both violence and peace happen in these places. Just as violence and peace happen in every battle for equality and for justice. History is the past that makes us better for the future. Let us not make the same mistakes of yesterday, but make a better future. We need to leave the historical monuments in place so we can remember. Texas history is significant and should be remembered. The Granger Monument on the hill with the names of those in the area that fought the Mexican army after the Battle of the Alamo really impacted me, how many civilians gave their life for the freedom of Texas. So I'm in favor of HB 3227. Thank you for hearing me today.
Thank you very much. That was perfect timing, by the way.
I
You-
try hard.
you
It
did
used to be
great.
3 minutes, and so
Yeah.
I really try hard.
You did very well. You
Thank you.
remembered the 2-minute limit.
I did.
We appreciate your testimony. Members, any questions for this witness? Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Chair calls Tami Hurley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Chairman Metcalf and the members of the CRT committee for the opportunity to speak. My name is Tami Hurley, and I come to you today from Tyler, Texas, the rose capital of the world. And I'm here in support of House Bill 3227. As I come to you as a history lover and a tourist of many cities all across our great state, and one of the things that makes Texas great is our collective story. Even before my 7th grade history class, where, I loved history, but I loved about things starting with the Alamo, and then the details about the Six Flags of Texas, and the interesting stories that related to our many cultures that really influence our Texas history. But my concern today is the destruction of that history, either through defacement, removal, or destruction of markers and monuments. During the travels throughout our state, myself and millions of others, whether they be citizens or tourists to the state of Texas, learn the stories and stand at the great places of history throughout our state. But unfortunately, we've had markers be defaced or destroyed. Texas Rangers monuments, one in Dallas Love Field Airport, one in West Texas. We had a Martin Luther King monument that was defaced in Houston, as well as the Christopher Columbus monument, the Alamo Cenotaph. Senator Creighton was even speaking last week about a Stevie Ray Vaughan monument here in Austin that was defaced. House Bill 3227, along with the accompanying Senate bill, helps to add protections and penalties to help keep Texas history available to all. Many monuments and markers describe history that our textbooks just cannot have the volumes of pages that would be needed to really, really tell those stories. So let's keep the stories of Texas and the history alive via the passage of House Bill 3227. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much for being here. So you spoke about another bill that does the same thing, but I just want to clarify, Tami Hurley, representing yourself, you are for House Bill 3227.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Chair calls Rhonda Regina Smith. Good morning.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Metcalf and CRT committee members. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. My name is Gina Smith, and I live in the Midlothian-Waxahachie area of Ellis County, and I'm here to express my support for HB 3227. I'm a member of several lineage organizations. My perfect day includes learning about my ancestors and how they fit into the fabric of history. History is more than just a record of past events. It shapes who we are, how we understand the world, and how we navigate the present and future. Understanding Texas history helps Texans new and old understand the state's unique identity. We are all part of a long, complex chain of events. History links us to our ancestors, their struggles, and their achievements. Imposing penalties is vital for the protection of our precious history. We need statewide oversight to prevent the removal of the irreplaceable representations of the blood, sweat, and tears of those who lived and died to pave the way for the Texas we know today. Our children and grandchildren need these visual reminders to reveal events beyond the mere words in a book. Many schools, buildings, and roads have been renamed, potentially eradicating the historical significance of these locations. Just like the disappearing family members in the photo from the iconic movie Back to the Future, who knows how future events might be changed because we forget the experiences of the many who came before us. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you. Please approve this bill for advancement.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, any questions? Seeing none, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Chair calls William Hurley.
Good morning, Chairman Metcalf and members of the committee. My name is Michael Hurley, and my wife spoke to speakers earlier.
Excuse me,
We're-
Mr. Hurley, we have you registered as William Hurley.
Yes, sir. My name is William Michael Hurley. I apologize. My mother didn't want two bills in the house.
It's fine. Can I keep you as William Hurley for HB 3227?
Yes, sir. Mr. Metcalf,
Please
you sure
proceed.
can. I just wanted to enter into official record. My wife spoke to back. She's the prettiest girl in Texas.
There
if
you
you could
go.
put that down, please. My name is Michael Hurley. As my wife, I'm also from the Rose capital of Texas, beautiful Tyler, Texas. And I do speak in favor today of House Bill 3227. You know, I wanted to take a moment to speak in favor of this bill because in many ways, I stand before you today representing generations of Texans who have gone before us and now lie moldering in the graves of hallowed cemeteries across our beautiful state. They can no longer speak of the deeds of which they accomplished, but of which their monuments still speak volumes to us. I'm here to represent all Texans and all Texas history, not just a portion of it. Texas, as we know, is a collection of many cultures and heritages, and we're united together in that shared history. And I believe that it starts and ends with us in our minds as we understand how valuable that history is into molding and shaping us into becoming the people that we are as Texans. I mean, there's probably not one of us in the room who has not traveled out of state and made sure that we share with others that we live in the greatest state in the Union. And much of that is due to the great history of the state of Texas. So in keeping with that, I ask that you pass House Bill 3227 that will protect the unique history that makes us different than any other state in the Union. It will give us an opportunity to honor our past and from it draw courage and strength and wisdom to move forward together united as Texans because we are all sons and daughters of the lineage of the Alamo,
Thank
of Goliad, and San Jacinto.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, any questions? Vice Chair Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Hurley, for your testimony, and I agree that all cultures.
Mr. Hurley, if you can come on back.
I'm sorry, Ms. Flores.
And
Go
I
ahead.
agree that all histories and cultures should be reflected in the history of Texas. And so I would just say that we need to do a better job of recording the history of all the people that contributed to the state and not just whitewash it. And so I would agree with what you had to say because it's very important that all the facets of the history of the state and of this country are told. And I think Texas needs to do a better job of doing that. So thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, ma'am. You made my day.
Mr. Hurley, hang on just a second. Members, any other questions for Mr. Hurley?
I guess I'm in too big a hurry,
All right.
Mr. Metcalf. I apologize.
Hey, you're good. Have a nice day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
Chair calls Jerry Patterson.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm Jerry Patterson, and I'm here to testify in support of HB 3227. I'm a retired Marine Vietnam veteran. I'm a former state senator, former land commissioner. Generally speaking, I'm just kind of former. Something that you will enjoy at some point in your future as well, and it's not that bad, to be honest with you. I'm also a member of I'm Governor Patrick's appointee to the 1836 Commission, and I'm on the Alamo Museum Planning Committee. History is a big deal to me. Since I left office, I've been involved in doing things related to Texas history. I've been involved in 2 documentary movies about little-known facts and little-known aspects of Texas history. And I, too, as the prior witnesses have mentioned, am in favor of the depiction of all of our history, warts and all, and that makes us all better Texans. It's amazing how few Texans know our history. For example, most Texans don't know that we had a Navy. We had a Texas Navy from 1836 to 1846. I'm also a member of that 501c3 nonprofit organization. So I very much support the bill. I think it will be a positive for the preservation of our history, and I urge you to support it when the vote occurs.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Vice Chair Flores.
And also a former neighbor of mine.
That's right.
Very good. Very good.
I mowed my grass pretty often. I mean, I was, thank y'all.
Members,
Thank
any
y'all.
other questions for Mr. Patterson? Thank you very much for being here. This time, the chair calls up John McCammon.
McCammon.
McCammon. Good morning. I apologize for your
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is John McCammon.
McCammon.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. I wish to speak as an individual, also representing myself as a veteran of the United States Armed Forces. My family has served in the United States Armed Forces since 1918 as veterans of World War I and also in the United States Army. In the years 1941 to 45, my dad and two uncles served in the United States Navy. Two of my other uncles served from 1943 to 1945 in the United States Marine Corps. I served in the Quarter Calf 1st Infantry Division, United States Army from 1972 to 74. The names of our families are recorded in stone on markers in plazas, courthouse, and monuments across Texas. In the past 8 years, far too many markers, plaques, statues, and monuments have been desecrated, vandalized, and removed from these public places. This has happened in the absence of laws protecting those historical markers and our families. The history of our sacrifices and dedication to freedom should be protected by legislation that is long, long overdue. This is the bill that will protect the history of our fathers, our mothers, our sisters, and brothers in the state of Texas. House Bill 3227 does this. It assures the protection of Texas history and that it will happen with the passing of these actions that you take today. Thank you for your time, and God bless Texas.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, any questions? Thank you for being here. Chair calls Johnny Anderson. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name's Johnny Anderson. I serve as the Chief Research Officer for the Civil War Project, an organization committed to preserving and sharing Texas history, especially the stories of Texans who served in the war between the states. I rise in support of House Bill 3227, which would provide a consistent protection for Texas monuments, memorials, and historical markers, whether at the state, county, or local level. Our work focuses on researching and documenting the lives of Texans, both Union and Confederate, who helped shape the cultural fabric of the state. These stories matter. And the monuments, plaques, and markers scattered across the state serve as historical anchors, including a brand new Veterans Monument just outside San Antonio to Hispanic veterans. And they connect today's communities to those who came before us. These markers are not glorifying the past, they are preserving it, so future generations can learn from it in full. When we erase or relocate history to appease shifting winds of political pressure, we do a disservice to education, understanding, and unity. We've seen what happens when these protections aren't in place. Since 2017, monuments across Texas have been removed under vague guidelines or outright pressure. Some were relocated quietly, others were destroyed. All of them represented a piece of our shared Texas history. I respectfully urge your support for House Bill 3227, and I thank you for your time and your commitment to preserving the rich and complicated story of Texas.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions for the witness?
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Cole?
I really am impressed with your desire to preserve history of all Texans, whether it was a ward or not a ward.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me if there's been any research done about the old 300 that came to Texas with Stephen F. Austin?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask about that, Representative Cole. I know that there has been, and in my research, I run across many of the veterans that served in the war between the states that were either from the old 300 or were descendants, their families were members of the old 300 that migrated with Stephen F. Austin.
That is part of my family history.
Is it? Well,
Yes, so we'll
great.
visit about that later. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions, members? There being none, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
testimony.
Chair calls Shelby Little.
Good morning, Chairman Metcalf, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Cole, as a matter of fact, we have some folks in our organization who are members of the Old 300 Association. So it's all about history. My name is Shelby K. Little. I'm a colonel in the United States Army retired, and I reside in Williamson County. I'm also a member of the Williamson County Historical Commission. I'm here to speak in favor of House Bill 3227, a much-needed and long overdue measure to protect all the physical symbols of the history of our great state. For the past decade, markers, monuments, and other historical symbols have been faced relentless attacks from radical activists and those who lack a meaningful understanding of our past. Their targets have been so wide-ranging and indiscriminate that it's clear that their goal is not reform, but destruction for destruction's sake. House Bill 3227 offers a sensible solution by shifting the decision-making authority to remove or rename historic symbols from unelected boards and local entities to the people themselves through special elections. The bill restores the voice of Texans in decisions about our shared heritage. Your colleagues in the Senate Economic Development Committee, considering an identical bill, SB 317, passed it favorably and unanimously earlier this week. I urge you to do likewise. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Little. So I just want to clean this up a little bit. You've got Shelby Little for House Bill 3227.
That's correct, sir.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Thank you for being here.
Thank y'all.
Chair calls David Nash. Morning.
Thank you, Chair Metcalf, members. My name is David Nash, reside in Gillespie County. I'm testifying for myself and for H. Bill 3227. It's fitting to have a bill protecting monuments, specifically cenotaphs, like the Alamo Cenotaph, where 182 funeral pyres are memorialized out of the 189 heroes of the Alamo, 189 years ago. This bill addresses the issue related to the recent proposed relocation of the Alamo Cenotaph. And the way I also read it, it will not prevent the current refurbishing project. It's, I believe, happening soon. I'd also like to mention another cenotaph that will be protected is the New Holland Cenotaph, where 293 students, teachers, and visitors died as a result of a natural gas explosion March 18th, 1937. And I support this bill, and I look forward to this one getting passed. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for your testimony. Members, any questions? Seeing none, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
That is the last witness that's registered to testify. Is there anyone else who wishes to testify on, for, or against House Bill 3227? Seeing none, Chair recognizes Representative Gerdes to close on his bill.
I appreciate y'all's willingness to hear this bill, and I urge favorable support, and I'd like to visit with you a little bit more about your family history of the old 300. So with that, pending any questions, I'll close.
Members, any questions? Vice Chair Flores.
Well, again, I'll just visit with you offline. I just feel that adding layers of voters and the legislature having to have a 2/3 vote, I mean, it makes it a really onerous, I feel, process. So, but I'll be happy to visit with you on about that later.
Sure.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman of the committee.
The chair withdraws committee substitute. If there is no objection, House Bill 3227 will be left pending. Is there objection? Chair hears none. House Bill 3227 is left pending.